Welcome to the program, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at what some call the lost art of flirting in this age of sexual harassment and very successful lawsuits. What's cool, what's not cool? Well, here to guide us through the do's and don'ts, a wonderful panel beginning in Los Angeles with the bubbly, the vivacious, the wonderful Rhonda Shear joins us, ladies and gentlemen. The Southern Belle who says she's a flirt for life. A flirt for life. What do you mean, flirt?
Wait. Hi, Geraldo.
Oh, honey, hi.
You know when to stop flirting, Geraldo?
When?
When you have too much jewelry. Never stop flirting.
No? But what about if it goes too far?
Well, it shouldn't go too far. See, we just take ourselves way too seriously now. And flirting should be fun. And you walk out the door if it goes too far. Or you give someone a real swift kick. It shouldn't be that way. We're so uptight that we can't meet anybody anymore. People always ask me, how do you meet people, Rhonda? Well, you meet people in the workplace, but everyone's so uptight about even just making a comment or saying, oh, you look nice today, or, you know, people just craze. So I think we have to get back to flirting a little bit. You know, my mother flirted her whole life, and yet my parents were married 50 years. Had a great relationship. No one fooled around on either one. And it's sort of a release. And I think if you don't release that energy, it's not good either. And I think that's when people go to the dirty magazines or the bad things. If you can just flirt and be playful and friendly, there's nothing wrong with it. And besides that, you'll meet people. It's like, hi, you know, just smile and be nice to people. Let's get back to that.
On our studio stage, Manhattan's master flirt, Susan Rabin. Susan's director of the School of Flirting. She has students there learning over 100 different ways to flirt. Really?
101 Ways is my book, How to Flirt.
It seems so politically incorrect.
Looking at her face first, right? And I said, good morning, young lady. And I not necessarily I was looking at her ass, it's just that I turned around to see the response.
He turned around and they just caught his eye.
You have to use that advantage. Yes, men look at us as sex objects. You know, women should turn that around and use it.
Rhonda Shear, do you find it insulting if I were to call you a sex object?
No, it's not calling it.
Wait, but you can't say. Let Rhonda answer.
You can't say
now,
women.
You're saying all women. All right, hold it. Calm down. Going to the West Coast now. Hold it, Susan.
From the Southern Belle, flirting is mental. It's not about what you're wearing. It's eye contact. It's not about.
Oh, but Rhonda, you wear dresses where you're all over the place.
Geraldo, but that has nothing to do with flirting. Like, I was just skiing for the first time in Lake Tahoe, and I was down on my butt more than I was up on my feet. And I never would have gotten out of the snow if you guys ski. It's impossible if I didn't flirt a little bit. And I was covered, you know, with a lot of clothing. And it was just like, hi, can you help me up? I've never skied before. Could you just help? And believe me, I had a lot of help on the slopes. And it wasn't about my low-cut clothing. It's mental. It's eye contact. Right. And like one of the gals said, if you're flirting with a guy in a restaurant, or if you're even flirting with your date, it's like touching his hand and looking in his eyes and making him feel really important. And by the way, when you're married or in a long-term relationship, you should not stop flirting. That's what keeps the love and the spark alive. Is you flirt with your mate your whole life. You know, you don't get him and then go, it's over. I mean, you flirt with your husband, you make him feel sexy and hot.
Now, Eric, in your generation, though, when you see a woman walking as, I don't know, I guess it was Rhonda described, with the outfit and the cut-up and the mini, micro, whatever, doesn't it draw your eye? And don't you think, as Bob suggests, that maybe there is something more to her motive?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially being in my generation, because
that's the problem.
Let him finish, Susan.
That's
let
not
him finish.
their motive.
What you have to understand is that my generation is also an entertainment generation, where TV, MTV, movies and stuff. So you have to understand that day by day, these things are instilled in our minds as we're watching TV or watching MTV or these movies where we see these women walking around in these skimpy little outfits. Watch Baywatch. So if I watch Baywatch for an hour and I walk out on the street and I see a woman that reminds me of that, of course I'm going to think of that girl running down the beach, and instead of looking at her face first like the man said on TV, you're going to look to her after.
Calm down.
Don't go to her body
Susan,
part.
calm down. Maggie, could you respond to Eric?
I can. First of all, I'd like to say that it makes no difference what a woman wears. She can wear absolutely anything because men can control themselves, and that's the biggest issue. It's like men do not have to make a woman aware that you are, in fact, looking at her ass. And I'm not saying that men shouldn't check women out. on the streets when they're dressed as, you know, maybe perceived as provocatively. But what I'm saying is they don't have to project it, because when that desire is projected, it actually makes a woman feel very, very uncomfortable.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I'll be honest with you, in some of the places that I'm in, the women that I see and that sometimes I associate with are not the women that you're talking about. You're talking about two different types of women. I'm telling you that the generation that I'm in, there are women out there that are walking down that street because they want to hear the whistle.
No, you know what? The majority of women are not doing that. Certainly there are some women that do like the attention. I agree.
There's a generation gap here, obviously.
There are some women, but the majority
Bob and then Susan.
I think Maggie's right. The majority of women don't.
But Rhonda, what have you done?
I have taken off my jacket so I can be more flirty for you guys. And first of all, let me just give you guys a clue. Women don't dress for men. They dress for themselves.
That's not true.
You're crazy.
They dress if you feel good.
That's a fallacy.
You're crazy.
Honey, I've been dressing sexy my whole life, and I don't do it to get a man. I don't need to.
I don't believe
I
that.
do it here.
I don't believe that.
Well,
Women
men don't
dress
believe that, but let me say something to you, Eric. You are extremely cute. Very good looking.
Thank you. I
Your
appreciate
glasses are really a great flirting prop. And most of the women...
I don't flirt.
No.
Everybody
Give me a
flirts.
I get
break.
flirted upon.
Yes, because you happen to have the outward look that somebody wants. So maybe the women you're connecting with are associating with you because you happen to have a good package there.
You know, it's
however, the more sexual.
What are you laughing at, Rhonda?
I just like the good package thing.
Got to take a break. Package or not. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. The art of flirting. Presidents do it. Paupers do it. Eric does it. Stay tuned. Great movie. Alicia Silverstone, I fell in love with her. Now, Meg, there was Eric's generation in a very premeditated fashion talking about, you know, being attractive to and actually luring in the opposite sex. Flirting good,
Based on what she's not
flirting
wearing.
bad.
Look, I think it's become...
Wait, let Maggie answer, then we go.
I think it's
you got to be quick on the draw here.
Flirting is definitely good. You know, I think that there's a difference between doing something that's really calculated that's going to end up badly, because I think it's important that you know who the person is. And if you start with a premise where there's too much deception, then you're really never dealing with the person
Maggie, what about
anyway.
the woman in that last clip there? She was being calculating. She was being manipulative. I didn't
That's
have
exactly
anything
what
wrong
I'm
with it.
talking about.
I didn't have
Women
a
should
problem
be
with what
that,
she was doing, because I think she was having some fun. It was light. It wasn't anything terribly serious. But she was definitely being
If that's a
manipulative.
pattern of behavior, then it's a problem. If it's
She
a
was
simple
definitely
thing
being
that she's done, you know, in one circumstance or whatever, then it may not be a problem. I
Flirting-
don't think it's a necessary
Susan, there are-
Flirting is the first step.
Flirting is
Flirting
not
is
a
the first.
problem. Flirting is a really good thing, and it is manipulative, and
wonderful.
it should be manipulative,
Yes.
and there's nothing wrong with that. It's the difference between men and women. That's how we get to know each other.
Yes, it's
so
the-
we should get back to flirting and not the low-cut clothes. Flirting isn't having your breast out.
Flirting is the first step.
Hey, listen, I don't want any more clothes coming off you, young lady. I'm telling you right now.
But it got your attention. It got your attention.
Geraldo, flirting is the first step in communication. It's the way we get to know somebody, and particularly in big cities, we have about 5 minutes to get to know somebody. So we have flirtatious behavior, we're playful, we have a sense of humor, we make somebody else feel good, we have a charming expression of interest in another without serious intent. Then what happens from there, that's the next step. But flirting is an up. It's a wonderful way to be. It's a social
But the only thing, Susan, I may disagree to this extent. I think Rosalie is absolutely right when she says that flirting and sex is the spoken or unspoken bottom line to flirting. I don't care what you...
unspoken.
No, that's not true. I think it's look. I think it's become so politically incorrect to deal with sexuality and flirtation. You know, the genders are very, very different. When a man looks at a woman, he's thinking and feeling very differently than when a woman looks at a man. You know, a woman can handle that flirtatious game and should handle it and understand what it is when a man is looking at her. Unfortunately, we've become so bogged down with rules, regulations. You can't do that. We shouldn't do this.
Eric
it's nonsense.
Eric.
Yes, I say go back. Flirting, first of all, isn't sex is the bottom line. I flirt to get front row tickets.
But I don't say sex is the bottom. It's the I don't know, the motif. It's the canvas.
intent.
It's the
But it's not.
You know what?
I mean, I'm a notorious flirt, as my wife knows, but I don't want to make love to the person, but it is about my manness and their womanness that makes it. But
it can be close to that, because like when you get back to talking about flirting, when she said it's about the mind, I think it's more than that. I think it's about it's an energy that goes back and forth between the man and the woman, and you feel that energy, and depending upon the individual, whether you can, how strong your energy is, you can give it to them stronger, or you know what I mean.
Bob, there's always going to be sexual tension between men and women.
Yes.
I don't care if you're even attracted to that person. There's always going to be that, and it doesn't mean you have to act on it. It doesn't mean you have to do anything about it. It doesn't even mean that you want to ever have sex or anything. It's just always going to be that, and have fun with it and enjoy it.
Okay, Debbie, what's
we're not flirting to get into spa goes with the maitre d'. I don't want to have sex with them. I just want a table, and it works.
But if you weren't sexy, your flirting would be falling on blind eyes.
That is not true. It's what you give off.
Right.
There's a lot of people that aren't that attractive.
That's why I don't get a good table at Spago.
Debbie, what's the next vignette?
Oh, okay, so we're going to take flirting into the corporate setting. So Mr. Jordan is my boss, and I'm trying to make a presentation, and we'll see what happens.
So Yvonne says no longer your husband, now he's your boss.
He's my boss.
All right, Debbie, the executive to her boss.
Okay, Mr. Jordan, I finished the
I love it when you wear that short skirt.
Thank you. I finished the papers for the conference, and I think there are a couple of things that you need to look through.
Let me see what you have here.
The conference is later on today, and I think that you and I should maybe sit down and possibly go through it. Are you paying attention?
I am paying attention.
Okay.
I'm going to kick his butt right now. That's it. iPad. She's that's it, man. Come on, right now. Come on, right now. That's it. Take a break. We're right back.
Absolutely. Men are very visually oriented. We are turned on by what we see. I mean, it's no accident that men are 25 times more likely to be colorblind than women are. We see things differently than women do. Our brains are configured differently. We are visually turned on. Not to say that women aren't, but I think men are more likely to be visually stimulated.
That's because you're thinking with the other brain.
Absolutely. The other head. The other head is what you're saying.
Thank God for that, because that gives women a tremendous advantage. Use that flirtation because you know that that's the vulnerability in men. I think women should use it instead of keep trying to destroy what's something very natural that comes to them.
But can we go back to the last skit that they did?
And actually, women throw off the signals. The scientific studies will tell you there are 52 signals that women throw off. They initiate the flirtation, whether it's the hair stroke, the lip lick, crossing the legs, and that's scientifically studied. So women do. Men don't always get them because they're subtle. Men don't always go over there, and men think sexual rather than playful, charming, making the woman feel good. If you flirt properly, you will get everything you want, but you don't have that serious goal and need. It's a turnoff, Geraldo. It shows. Keep, body parts, keep your comments above the net. And keep sex off your lips. On your mind.
You've known me for how long?
11
years.
Yvonne's
side. 11 and a half years. Okay. Now, I'm a flirtatious person, but you never felt...
No.
No. Why?
Because it was a playfulness. Right. I mean, I think that you always say you're a flirt, but you're not a fool. It's not the type of thing where, I felt, okay, he wants more than this. Not at all. And I flirt too. I mean, my smile, I'm very touchy also. So I think that if it's your natural nature to do that, that can be a part of it.
But in that skit that you did with Yvonne, though, he would be dead meat if he did that in real life.
In today's climate.
But does it happen? Does it happen?
His lawyer would be on your nighttime show, Geraldo.
Naturally, we want to be close to each other.
He's right here. Bless you, Vance. I didn't like that very much.
There are limitations in the workplace. Your personal space, you got too close. You didn't. You said.
Well,
her
what do you have to
skirt.
say? You're a smart man.
Right
you would
away,
never
her
do that.
skirt or her legs. I mean, you really have to limit certain behaviors in the workplace.
But
that isn't something I would do.
How are you going to meet people?
I wouldn't. That's not how I flirt.
Right. Good.
There's subtlety to it.
How do you flirt?
I mean, with a smile and a comment that, there's a way that you would say compliment a woman that is flirtatious without being obnoxious.
Absolutely. I flirt with men say to me.
I flirt with anyone.
Debbie.
I've had men say, you have great stems. I mean, that's a flirt.
You have great stems?
Stems.
I think that's fine.
Well, I want Maggie to comment on that.
Well, I actually have a bone of contention with part of this because I do think flirting is important, and I think if you're doing it naturally and if you're responding to an individual, that it's a really great thing. I think if you're being manipulative because you want to get a better seat, then that's not flirting any longer. That's about a different kind of an intent, and it undermines the purity of what flirtation really should be about.
We're too uptight.
Let Rhonda and Maggie have a dialogue.
We're too uptight nowadays. You know, we can't put rules and regulations on everything. It should come natural. And if it doesn't come natural, you should be doing it. Taking it too far is if you flirt. Right now, if I jumped onto Geraldo's lap, that would be taking it too far. But if it's verbal and it's eye,
if my wife was watching, it would definitely be too far. Maggie, response?
If it's verbal and if it's eye contact, it's okay. And you know what, guys? People spend, my friends ask me, how do you meet a guy? People spend 8 hours a day in the workplace. This is a good place to flirt. If nothing else, you'll make friends with something. There's nothing wrong with telling a guy, you know, you look really good today. You lost some weight. Have you been working out?
Not if he's working for you, Rhonda.
And if you have a relationship with that person, but if the intention is to get a table, to get a better job, to get something, you're using it as a mechanism then to take something. And it's not about being uptight. To me, it's about being authentic to what is really going on.
I've been flirting my whole life, and I'm not going to stop until and my mother's 80 years old, and she still flirts. And believe me, she's the hottest senior citizen you'll ever meet. There's nothing wrong with it.
You shouldn't flirt. If you're 80 years old, you should flirt. I'm also a flirt. I love flirting. I don't flirt with every single man that comes into my sphere because I can get something from them because I don't believe that that's fair.
And don't you think that
saying the same things? You flirting, it's playful, you do it naturally, but you don't have to do it because you want to get something at that moment. But you will get what you want if you're a good flirt. You always get what you want.
And I take a break.
Yeah. What's the difference between flirting with the maitre d', as Rhonda suggests, and the man giving the maitre d' $20 to get the table at Spago?
But that's the point. That's the point. It's like a form of selling yourself.
Exactly.
But you know what flirting does? Somebody said this earlier, and I don't know who's who, but flirting makes someone feel good. Even if you're flirting, if you're flirting with the maitre d', and that playful 20-second, 30 seconds, it just makes someone feel good. So there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, gotta take a break. You guys are next. Welcome back. We'll just get Rhonda. Rhonda's grooming herself out there. What now, Dawn? What now?
I had to flirt with someone, and you're flirting with my female camera person.
That's another show, sweetheart. That's a Sally.
You know
That's
what?
Sally.
It's just light and fluffy. You guys are making me crazy in New York.
All right.
Because sexual harassment and flirting, there's two different things.
But Debbie had an insight. Wait here. The book, His Secret Life. We love this guy, Bob Berkowitz. Cece and I adore him.
Oh, cool. Jeannie says that she was flirting with Eric, or just talking to him, making general conversation. He didn't take it as a flirt. I want to know how do you take it to the flirting level? What would Jeannie have to have done to make him realize?
Well, here, let me just reshape your question with all due respect, my darling. After 12 years, I can do this. What happens, Maggie, if the woman, or everyone really on this, we'll start with you. What happens if the woman really has a sexual goal in mind? I mean, she wants to be with this boy.
Manhole.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Then flirting is a way to start feeling that person out, to find out if there is any possibility of that happening. And it's a way to do it in a harmless way so that there's no danger. You can ask him questions, you can be funny, and then you can figure out where you go from there.
And you have the eye contact, and you have the body language and the skills.
You know, flirting
and you just throw it out there. And also,
Rosalie,
if you
and then
flirt well, she guarantees that she's also not going to be rejected by him if she's just being flirtatious and she doesn't come on too strong. And then it's up to him now. You see, Eric, you missed it. You missed it, and many men miss the subtlety of the flirt. Then it was up to you to continue it.
Well, she was with her boyfriend. What do you expect?
Yeah, I don't know if I missed it, but...
She's next with a boyfriend, and
First of all, I don't think that you have to flirt too much with a man for a man to say to himself, you know, let's have a
now, see the way she just bent over. Wait, stay right there. See the way she just bent over? Now, how could a man's eyes not be drawn to the thing that's cut down to your navel?
Well,
Debbie, that doesn't make me what? I'm not dead.
I know you're not dead.
I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a Puerto Rican man.
I knew you were going to notice. That's what I'm
But
saying.
you know something? The idea is, yes, you know, you're going to look here, but eventually you're going to be listening to what I have to say.
If I don't run into like a pole or something, I'll be walking around and go, oh, man, oh, sorry.
You know, we're not.
Those were speakers.
You know exactly what you're doing.
I do know exactly what I'm doing, and I wish more women would do it. They would have a lot more money. But
And a lot
getting
more
back,
fun.
no,
A lot more fun, says Miss Fun on the West
yes,
Coast.
a lot
You know
more
what?
fun.
It is
But
flirting is part of your...
I just wanted to finish one thing. I think we're trying to rewrite rules of flirtation and of how men and women interact with each other. I think it's a very natural phenomena. I must be the only one here who's very old-fashioned and doesn't have a problem with a man looking at me or I looking at a
Rhonda,
man.
you remember, you don't remember, you're too young, but I remember in my era, she led him on. Remember that one? She led him on.
That still exists.
Yeah.
Still.
But you know what? I feel exactly the way she does. I'm very old-fashioned too, and flirting is an art, and it's a finesse. And it should just come naturally. It's part of my sense of humor. Actually, it's the way I can feel someone out to see if they're into me or not.
It's your shtick also, honestly.
It is my shtick, but it is who I am in real life. Let's face it.
Maggie?
Flirting does not mean staring at your breasts. That's not
Right.
a necessary component of flirtation. It's like when somebody's staring at your breasts, they're not listening to you. These aren't speakers. You know? they're not.
Donnie, you missed that shot. You have no idea what she was indicating now, ladies and gentlemen. And it wasn't her ears. What, Yvonne? Hold it, Yvonne.
But when a woman wears something revealing that's cut really low, and you're talking to that person, you're not going to not stare at the...
But you know what?
You're not going to not stare.
You're not going to not notice.
You will notice.
Rhonda,
Why is she
what?
wearing this to the workplace?
Help me, Rhonda, what?
Guy, I have never seen... okay, I wear, you know, low-cut clothes. Hey, I didn't have these things done for nothing, okay? But anyway, I've never seen a guy stare at my breasts while talking to me. Usually they can't. If you look a guy in their eyes, they're not going to look down. The only way they actually do look into your breasts is if you turn away. And I actually did a thing called cleavage cam where I put a camera right in my cleavage at the Republican convention to see if guys would stare down my cleavage. And they didn't unless I turned away. So Geraldo, if you're doing that, you're unusual.
Oh, come on. I didn't say stare. It's impossible not to notice is what I said.
You know what? Women check each other
Why
out.
would she wear that in a workplace? I mean, seriously,
To attract the attention so I can get the guy's ears and get the client. Sure I do.
Gotta take a break. We'll continue after this. Tell me a quick story, quick.
A quick story. Mike and I are both comedians, and we perform at Stand Up New York a lot, comedy club. And he hands out VIP tickets, and you can win. They do a raffle. You can win tickets or T-shirts. Mike hands them out at the door, and he goes, "Win a date with me, yeah. Win a date with me, yeah. Fine-looking lady. I speak the truth."
This guy's gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, I want to thank first Maggie West. The fine film is called War Zone. Check it out. Is it airing anywhere in the big towns?
It should be in theaters by the summer.
Terrific. War Zone. It really is a very telling film. I tell you, we've been captivated by it the last couple of days. Eric's Fat Burning Grooves Grind Workout, the MTV workout. Bob's latest, His Secret Life. Rhonda, love you, darling. What do we got?
Geraldo, I can't wait to see you out here.
I'll be out there. Oh, you dude.
At Spago.
Oh, man, that's my wife's going to send me to Topeka every day now, every business trip. Okay, 101 ways to flirt, how to get more dates and meet your mate, and how to attract anyone, anytime, anyplace. The smart guide to flirting. Oh, baby, it's been so much fun. See you next time. Bye-bye.